TSC, Transportation Service Center Manager, Kelby Wallace. Hi, Kelby.
Good afternoon, Bart. How are you?
I'm good. Good to see you again.
You too.
We're in the wind up to the construction season, but it looks like they're working maybe faster and harder than ever to beat the weather.
Yeah, this time of year you could get 1 day of good weather a week. You could get 4 or 5 days, and so usually our contractors on all of our projects, not just in Jackson, but everywhere across the state, they're taking advantage of every nice day like today they can to do the final work that's very reliant on decent temperatures.
Yeah, we've got some workers right now. Let's take this live shot of the Mechanic Street Bridge, and it looks like, well, it's almost done.
Yeah, so you're right on it there. You can see Mechanic Street kind of north of the bridge up on that top left. We've got a lift of a layer of asphalt pavement that went down in the last day or two. It's paved underneath the bridge. Right now we're looking to open everything up by the end of next week. This is over the railroad right there actually over top of Jackson Street. You can see the track on the right is kind of got new ties and rails that hasn't been tamped down, packed down into the surface. The one on the left is the one that's been active. So it's actually packed down into the material. This is just kind of a little bit older picture of the Jackson Street Bridge. That's almost ready for asphalt pavement. Now we've got curbs in and we're ready to pave this week and early next week. Kind of an overhead view of the Jackson Street crossing, just showing you the track. Kind of a cool drone shot here. Again, you can see they're working on that track on the top of the screen there. They run their machines over it and kind of embed those railroad ties down into that stone so it's stable. Here's a look at the Mechanic Street crossing. I think it was a great picture showing the local railroad there. We called it the Jackson and Lansing Railroad, that's down at street level. And then we've got the Amtrak line in the middle that's actually separated from the road. Mm-hmm. And so that was really one of the constraints on the project. We've got to get traffic under the one tracks and then over the next track.
Yeah, because people ask, well, why don't you just dig it down lower so that bigger trucks could fit? But right. You can't because you've got that lane.
You've got another rail line right there, and you can see that rail line in this picture. Again, this picture is a little bit older. Your roof cam showed the progress up today. This was 2 weeks ago when our drones were out there taking pictures, but showing you the progress. So now, right, compared to that last picture, we've got concrete pavement under that bridge. We've got asphalt there. We've got more grading. You can see on the left there, that's where our pathway, our sidewalk's going to go.
Yeah, so you see that there's a support that's a third of the way into the...
Yeah.
That's for sidewalk and...
Right, so that's basically that support, call it a pier, separates the sidewalk and the road traffic. So on the smaller opening will contain your sidewalk and pathway for bikes and walkers to go through there, and separated from traffic.
Well, I think everyone is hopeful for a couple things. One, that there are no trucks that are too high for that clearance. Try to go through there. Right. What do you do to? I mean, are there some things that you took into consideration that will prevent or reduce the likelihood of that happening?
We added some additional signing, some flashing signing that kind of warns motorists coming on Lewis Glick on the business route in both directions to warn them of that. We did place what we call a sacrificial beam.
Okay.
And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's not there to hold up the train tracks. It's just there to prevent the real beams from getting hit. And so if basically a cube truck is usually what hits at a rider truck or something along those lines that's a box truck, that beam's going to take the brunt of it. Nothing's going to happen to the bridge except the truck will be stuck there and need to be removed, but it won't do any structural damage to our new bridge there. But the technology, there's lots of different things out there that could be done, but it really, because of so many access points to get to this bridge and the fact that we need to allow taller vehicles on Lewis Glick to go through the business route through Jackson to get to other destinations. We can't prevent people from
being stupid.
from, you can't, we have a saying sometimes, you say you can't sign for stupid,
Yeah.
you know, and we need, you know, people to put down their phones and pay attention to signs, and then they won't run into bridges like that, or they won't, you know, run into things along the highway. But, you know, we can't control people's behavior, driving behavior. We can, you know, focus on engineering and try to make things more safer with curbs and guardrails and signs. And we can also hope that people are getting education during driver's education and things, you know. But there are several factors that go into what causes a crash.
I can't believe it. And I know you have as well, driven one of those trucks that sit up high, and it looks, you know, it's deceiving. You think you're going to hit the bridge in your face. So I just don't know how, but I guess it does. Let's hope it doesn't. All right, the other thing, graffiti. We don't want anybody graffitiing these. Do you have like anything you put on there that makes them graffiti proof?
Yeah, some of the areas down there that are kind of maybe more smooth face that might be attractive to for someone to tag or to put some graffiti on. There's some coatings on there that make it so it's very easy to remove. And some of the other areas that are have some of our patterns on them, you know, they aren't as attractive because you can't really see anything if you spray it on there. So, you know, we're used to that. We've been addressing that at other locations, but a lot of times we've seen people be maybe a little more respectful to our new bridges in town.
Yeah, it's everyone's money. It's your money that created these beautiful bridges, so keep them looking great. All right, let's go to 94, where the first project is pretty much almost done now.
Yeah, so our project right in Jackson, this one is west of town, the picture right now, but the one in Jackson, we've kind of got work going on probably for the next month, but it's very minor, you know, adding some final signs, pavement markings, planting more grass in areas, cleaning out some of our drainage structures. Out west, this is the project from Michigan, from M60 over to Michigan Ave and over to Calhoun County line. Right here, you can see we're kind of putting in the final storm sewer systems in the median of the roadway there. You can see our workers here doing all their excavating and backfilling, and to make sure those structures are put in the ground properly. We've got a little bit of paving to do out there in the next month, some concrete paving and some asphalt paving to do, so that we can kind of return traffic to normal for the winter.
Yeah, it's amazing all the underground infrastructure that has, it's just, the water just doesn't roll off both sides.
Yeah, so this is like the next step. After you put in that storm sewer, you put in what we call this valley gutter. This is the white concrete strip that person is standing on. And then we put the drains right there at the bottom of the screen. You can see the drains. That's where the water goes. And it goes into the pipes that were shown on the previous slide. And then we outlet it to the ditches. The water is directed to the ditches on both sides.
Uh-oh.
And here's what happens when we have those drivers that maybe aren't paying attention or kind of drift off the road. You know, I think this is one where we've seen real excessive speeds out there in that work zone. It's got some, you know, long stretches. We call them the Parma Flats. You know, it's pretty long and flat between Deering Road and Parma. And on the weekends, we have 2 lanes open. People start driving too fast. We've seen people driving in our 60-mile-per-hour work zone with our automated speed radar signs going 90 miles an hour.
Oh my gosh, you're
you know,
kidding.
right next to our folks who are trying to work in that meeting and rebuild this road, get it open. But we had this situation here where a driver, you know, went off the road, flipped over. Now the road is shut down for a couple hours, and it impacts a lot of people when that happens. You know, so again, I just like to say, hey, drive slow, act like, you know, drive like your family's in that work zone. One of the workers out there.
And I think you know, we probably do expect higher standards of vehicle operation from a professional, like you know, an 18-wheeler driver. And there's, you know, certainly the ultimate is the risk of loss of life. There are, of course, not just the people in the vehicles, but your workers.
Correct, and others, you know, a lot of other motorists that are innocent, that caught up in that, you know.
Yeah, your grandma could be in the other car.
Correct. Yeah.
I'm excited to see the end of these great projects. It really is, as far as aesthetically, it just makes the whole community look better. And I think for Jackson, more welcoming that, oh wow, we have, we've laid out the red carpet for our visitors.
Right. Well, it looks great. I think if we talk again in a month, we're going to have a lot of these projects checked off the box and kind of done for the season, and then we can kind of maybe start previewing some things for next year.
Great. Well, thanks for keeping us informed and up to date on everything.
All right. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. Kelby Wallace, Jackson TSC Manager with MDOT. More to come.